Celeste and go for the triple CC composition.
They could very well go for it just because it's also against Rhyme that could keep their distance. Another thing is the Baron that is open. So anything that works well for Hundor to keep his distance away from the Rhyme and play a range advantage sort of a composition would work fantastic for G2. And at the same time for Captain, they still have Grace and they have Lance, who's worked very well for Keanu.
They are going to go for the Grace here, so getting that extra healing, matching the healing that's going to be coming out from the Lyra as well. It's always a very strong boon to have on your team. Once that Echo is completed, the double Divine Interventions are game-changing. G2 going to be rounding out this composition. You expect something ranged to try and deal with this Rhyme, or do they try and go for the all-in melee? Just say, we're just going to burst you down. It is going to be the Celeste that we were talking about just a moment ago. So keeping their distance, going to be trying to use those overdriven Helios to just get that damage down to Rhyme. The core collapses to keep their distance as well. And of course, the potential for triple stun with the Holy Nova, core collapses, and from Hell's Heart.
Absolutely. We'll see if that triple stun will come on through. We'll see how G2 are going to play this Celeste composition. How are we feeling about the Mousesports comp, though, being able to dive onto this Celeste and eliminate that win condition?
Honestly, this is kind of looking scary for G2 because they gave over to Mousesports a very early game and mid-game dominant composition that Mousesports can play very aggressive with, and they just did that against Clash, did it incredibly well. And going into team fights, they could start teleporting onto the Celeste. So it's Mousesports that's going to have to play very aggressive, and G2 that's going to have to play very defensive, allowing the Celeste to scale, get her items, get her levels, and then just try to protect her in team fights.
Absolutely. This is a very classic G2 composition, though. We've been talking a lot recently about how they've been evolving as a team, how they've been going for different picks and different styles. But with the Celeste in the backline, a Grace to keep her safe, and the Dark Potato on that crawl, this is what you expect by default out of G2. So I'm excited to see if they can pull this one off, moving on into this game and into this series. They just need a singular win on the board to lock themselves in for Singapore. They just have to beat Mouse one time. But sometimes that can be a lot easier said than done. We'll have to see if they have what it takes coming on into this game. We want you guys at home to get involved as well on social media. Hashtag Vainglory 8. This could be the last important game of the Vainglory 8. This could be G2 punching their tickets. It's time to pass it to Jaws and Sean Ostino to find out if G2 have what it takes.
Well, here we go. The time is now. G2, like they said, one win away of securing that space in the World Championships. Going straight to Singapore, but it's only Mouse they have to deal with. Now, are they going to be the cat that pounced on the mouse early? Because what I can see and what they were talking about on the desk, G2, very classic late game comp with Hundor, but they've given over the tools for Mouse to have a very early and mid game win condition.
Yeah, they very well could, especially with Rhyme. We know Rhyme is so strong, Jaws, early game. And Vox, he could scale up too, and once he gets his full build, he's going to be a very high damage threat, especially once he gets his breaking point online. And if he stays alive in these fights, then Leon is going to be able to output so much damage. But that's the thing. They've got to be able to protect him. They've got to have these sustains coming out of this Lyra, and Rhyme has got to be able to distract long enough and do a lot of damage for Leon to be able to execute.
Well, they proved it once. Can they prove it again? That was a very scary looking game. And I think Mouse were just flexing in their games against Clash just a moment ago. But we've now Hundor and Keanu making their way back to lane. Hundor did pick up an extra pair of boots and an extra crystal bit as well. Doesn't look like we're jumping into a brief pause, however, Sean. So I'm sure they'll get resolved momentarily. But it just gives us, again, a little bit more time to break down these compositions a little further. Where are we going to see I'm the Doom in the next couple of minutes or so? Will he be a farming style? Like, I just want to sit here, I want to just rack up until I hit level 6 and increment with the Valkyrie? Or we're going to see him just run at people and just gun them down like we saw before?
Well, I would expect to see him building towards that Shatter Glass. You know, of course, that's a very important first item for Rhyme to get that huge burst damage from his abilities and also be able to build up his fortified health. Then, of course, I would expect them to really want to be able to fight, get a big team fight going once he gets to level 6. Once he has his Valkyrie, he's going to be able to drop stuns and tons of damage for days. And of course, his chill wins is going to be able to lock people down, and that's what we really want to see here. Onto Dark Potato and Hundor as well. If we can lock them down with roots coming out of Rhyme, then it's going to be a lot easier for Leon on this Vox to be able to just give that continual auto attack damage and the resonance bounces too, and just burst people down. However, with Cruel, we do have Cruel and Celeste. We have a lot of CC that could be chained for them, actually. Okay, it sounds like we're going to be coming back pretty soon. Production is telling us, but let's go ahead and continue to talk about Hundor here, and let's also mention too that players are responsible for their own connection, so we're just going to see if we can get that fixed up here. But it looks like we're coming back into the game and everything's good, Jaws. Hundor is able to output a lot of damage once he reaches that level 8 power spike, and he could throw down core collapses as well, stun up some enemies, chain that with the From Hell's Heart that is going to be coming out of this Cruel, Dark Potato's Cruel. It's going to be a really powerful engage tool, as well as the Holy Shield, which coming out of the benedictions from Keanu Nakoa could really minimize a lot of the damage from Leon.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, you've got ways to deal with the passageway engagement from Just Man also. Passageway to the Bright Bulwark, the El Clasico of Lyra's, will help I'm the Doom get on the back line, but then you've also got to deal with that Holy Nova. If Keanu does prepare for that situation, Holy Nova at the end of the passageway, bada bing, bada boom, you've got yourself a knockup, which is going to be, like you mentioned a second ago, layered into CC after CC after CC, core collapse from Hell's Heart, and then Dark Potato is wailing on I'm the Doom. Now, this laning phase is going to be fairly short, well, sorry, fairly dull, you could say, in a sense, because Leon, again, is just going to want to be farming, but so is Hundor, wanting to reach that level 8 mark, and Just Man is going to be able to sustain a lot of that damage that Hundor's going to be able to output. Minion Candy seems like a real possibility for Mouse, possibly, to maybe set up a fairly early dive and get priority in that lane, just so.
Keanu and Nakoa getting chunked down there a little bit by Just Man. A pretty good trade in favor of Just Man there. Hit the Principal Arcanum. I feel like I always talk about it because I love Lyra so much. She's such a great pickup as captain. And her Principal Arcanums in 2.9, they can do so much work. She's able to throw them, get a little bit more damage on them, and if the target's pretty low, she can get some captain kills and some KSs for sure. Looks like we could be seeing Just Man build towards Crucible first to go ahead and block a lot of the CC that we've been talking about come out of Hundor with those core collapses from Hell's Hearts, the possible Holy Novas. But the thing is, that's a lot of CC. That's already 3 CC abilities that we're talking about there, and there's only 1 Crucible available to Just Man. So I would hope that the positioning from Leon is actually on point, and he's able to move around, kite around these fights, and maybe even him and I'm the Doom pick up a reflex block, even though that would inhibit some of their damage output.
Well, Hundor's actually prioritizing a little bit of shielding her early on, is recognizing the fact that I'm the Doom is going to really stack up damage quickly enough, and Just Man even moving forward to steal away some of Dark Potato's jungle. Did that get smited away? No, it did not. I'm the Doom's going to be able to secure it. So now Mouse piling on that pressure, like Araki said, early to mid-game win condition here for Mouse. If they can manage to get the gold away from Dark Potato, the CS away from Hundor, or even a couple of kills as well, they'll be in a good spot to secure the late game also. Hundor and Leon just having a little 1v1, or in fact Dark Potato and I'm the Doom are having a 1v1 now, just chasing into the jungle. Spectral Smite stacking up here. The captains are going to join also. I'm the Doom just starting up the Elder Tree and maybe looking for a cheeky route. It doesn't like they're just going to go for a small fight over it instead. I'm the Doom securing it. That's going to be a big portion of his health just regained here. Dark Potato going very low. Holy Nova comes out as well. I'm the Doom's going to receive a bit of healing from Just Man, but this fight is so sustained so early, and now the Crystal Sentry wants some as well. Dark Potato still chasing I'm the Doom, but another nice Holy Nova won't quite get blocked up, and Dark Potato actually, wait a second, Hundor found the kill in the mid lane. Leon takes the solo kill up in the lane, and now Keanu is on the run from Mouse. G2 can lose all of their members here in a blink of an eye if they're not careful.
This is craziness right here, Jaws. Look over in the lane. We see Leon doing his work there. Keanu Nakoa is getting bursted down and rooted, and he's killed. And we have 3 kills going over to Mouse. And not only that, they've taken the tier 1 turret down to about 90% less health. Oh my goodness, this is crazy sauce right here, man. Things are looking good for Leon. He's already got himself a poison shiv. He had a few about 1,500 gold there. He got himself a couple more items. He's going to be working towards that breaking point, it looks like. I wanted to actually also mention that the reason he got that poison shiv clearly was to reduce the healing that's going to be coming out of Kiana and Nakoa later on in this game. And with the fountain that he will be picking up shortly, we do have that crucible completed on Just Man, so the burst healing coming out of him is going to be so good right now. But Dark Potato was doing a lot of work there in that fight, but I feel like the weakness stacks were just not mitigating the damage that was coming out. And here we go.
We're going to go for another engage, but once again, Just Man comes up big with a bright bulwark. Core Collapse only hits minions on the Doom, pushing forward. They're looking for the kill onto Kiana and Nakoa. Holy Nova's going to stun him up, but he already falls down. Hondor gets the massive Solar Storm out and manages to kill I'm the Doom, but now it's Leon diving underneath the turret. They find the ace, and they're going to be able to take the turret as well.
An early ace at 6.5 minutes in. Things are looking really good for them. They've had about a kill a minute here for Mousesports, and man, they are looking dominating. If it was just me looking at this game, taking the nameplates away, I wouldn't even think that this was G2 they were going up against. This is just insanity here. They have a 3,000, almost 3,500 gold lead for Mousesports, and things are looking really good for them. If you look at I'm the Doom, he did just get taken out in that fight, but he is sitting at 4-1-1 right now for his KDA. He's got Dragon's Eye that he's sitting on, working towards Eve of Harvest, it looks like, and he's just become such a crazy distraction. And Leon, too, able to kite around the edges of this fight. He's got breaking point there. He's going to be able to ramp up his damage even better. And if it was me looking at this, they want to fight.
They want to fight right here, right now. Nice Holy Nova actually does land onto I'm the Doom, so stopping him for the time being in his tracks, but that passageway used for the sneaky engagement coming out from Just Man is used quite preemptively, and they aren't going to be able to find anything of that. So that's a big cooldown down for the moment, about a minute remaining on that one, but G2 still have to defend this turret. Mid to early to mid game was Mouse's win condition. They've already got 6 kills on board, and I even said at the start, if they can play like they played in last series against Clash, G2 are going to have a tough time. Goldminer started up here as well. G2 want to come in and get this, but I'm the Doom is going to secure it. They're going to have to back off rather sharp as Kiana goes extremely low. Solar Storm hits 3 members. That's going to be a big smite. Does kill Leon, but now they're going to have to protect Hondor. A Core Collapse lands straight on the Doom. Can't sustain through the fights. The fortified health wasn't enough. And now it's only Just Man to fend for himself, as G2 are going to be able to run him down or decide against it, as they need that priority in the lane. They find the fight they wanted, and they take 2 for it.
Hondor on this Celeste is starting to come online here, Jaws, and that's exactly what Mousesports wants to deny and prevent from happening. He's already hit that level 8 power spike. He's actually invested fully into his Heliogenesis like we would expect here, and looks like Mouse is going in.
They're going to go in again. They want to fight, and that's exactly what I'm going to see as well. That Core Collapse did come out. Leon and Just Man managed to block it, though, so they will be able to just move on with their lives and just clean up this wave. But that turret is down to about 3rd HP now, and with Hondor striking that level 8, he will be able to arrange that down from afar, and Leon and Just Man and I'm the Doom are going to have to be able to deal with that. With the Eve of Harvest as well from Hondor, he's even sustaining through a lot of these pokes and skirmishes as well.
In that previous team fight in the jungle, we did see that because Hondor stayed alive, and he was actually on the back line while everybody else was fighting, meleeing essentially in the middle there near the jungle shop, Hondor threw out some really effective Solar Storms, Core Collapses, and Supernovas, and he was just able to do so much damage. If he is continuing to stay alive in these team fights, that's where it makes a difference for G2.
Leon dashing forward. Core Collapse isn't going to quite land. He actually dashes out with the boost. Holy Nova goes wide as well. Hondor very low, but he's sustaining up with that Eve of Harvest. Like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I'm the Doom and Leon, they've got a lot of damage, and they're going to be able to take that turret with them as well. Those Holy Novas are doing a lot of work. Those Heliogenesis even, who are doing a lot of work. I'm the Doom doesn't quite find the kill on Hondor. Yes, he does. Winter Spire came out in the end. The heal from Keanu will sustain Dark Potato for the time being, but he cannot find the finishing blow on Just Man, and he is just getting kited around. Leon would not let him go. 2 members falling for G2 and make that a 3rd with I'm the Doom finding the ace. Mouse, and now they're going to break the base.
A second ace within 3.5 minutes, Jaws. Mouse is just looking so commanding here, and it looks like they could very well be taking this game, if they continue to play like they've been playing, look at the gold lead right now. We see Mouse about 7,000 gold in the lead, and Leon throwing out like those charms that he is known for, taunting against G2. You can tell that these are players who like to throw little jabs at each other because they're just so comfortable, even though they're just so competitive at the same time. And this has just been such an amazing game so far. Clockwork actually picked up by Celeste right now. Hundor is going to have the cooldowns really reduced on those Heliogenesis. He's going to be able to spam them out like minefields. But at the same time, he needs to be able to effectively use them, stay alive to make sure that he is on the back line and he's not getting aggressed on. This gold mine, it looks like it's going over to Mousesports and further increasing their lead now.
Yeah, nothing like a cheeky bit of banter. This will be a bit of banter as well as Leon is going to move forward. That's going to be a lot of damage straight on to Keanu. Not careful. Hundor's now in the back line, gets jumped on by I'm the Doom. The Valkyrie goes a little bit wide, but the sustain's going to be there, coming through from Keanu. But Vox is already executing him. Leon just bouncing around this fight, not touched at all. Dark Potato and Hundor just couldn't get on him. A 3-man Holy Nova wasn't enough to save Keanu's life. Back to back to back ace for Mouse. And they're going to now push in the base pre-15 minutes.
Pre-15 minutes, Jaws. It looks like they're actually turning around because the death timers are pretty low. They could have maybe, if that wave was actually pushed in a little bit further beyond the choke point, it would have probably been able to take at least one of the turrets. But they're going to settle for the Crystal Sentry instead. Oh man, taking that one down with one life remaining is going to make it so much easier for them to find the team fights that they want in the jungle. But I feel like Mousesports has just been fighting the team fights everywhere they want to. War Treads picked up by Lyra now. So we're actually going to have Just Man facilitate and allow for engages just so heavily, and I feel like them throwing down the War Treads and just getting onto the back line, getting onto Hundor wherever they need to is just so important here. Leon picked up a Tyrant's Monocle, so not only is he going to be ramping up his weapon power damage with that Breaking Point, but he's also going to be doing heavy crit damage whenever he's hitting with his auto attacks. This is just going to be such an impressive display. It has been an impressive display from Mouse so far.
G2, they haven't even got a turret, and you could say these compositions are their forte as well, putting a lot of weight on Hundor and having him in the main carry position, putting him up on a pedestal and saying, right, we're going to facilitate you in these fights, we're going to help you just live, you are going to do the damage, and we're going to win the fights, and then we're going to win the game. That is exactly what G2 likes to do, but right now, Hundor has got so many things to watch out for. Not only because he got to watch out for Leon's damage, he has to kite back from behind the Doom, as well as Just Man putting those bright bulwarks down, and like you mentioned, there's War Treads even coming online now as well. Just adds another layer of, another layer of inevitability of killing Hundor. There's so many issues he has to deal with at this time. G2 have probably been in this situation before where they are behind waiting for Hundor to get scaled up, but he hasn't even completed his 4th item, where we see I'm the Doom and Leon working towards theirs, and almost a completed build from Leon actually. He needs to sell the flask first, obviously. G2 now maybe setting up for a little something here, but they've really just got to get their gears in motion, because right now, Mouse, they are way too far ahead to seemingly make G2 do anything here. They're going to find another engage onto Hundor. He still needs to kite back. Crystal Sentry is going to turn this into a 2v3. Already we see Dark Potato receiving that divine intervention to heal himself up against I'm the Doom, but Hundor's already fell. The main carry's gone. Now they have to sustain. I'm the Doom still alive, but there's going to be a big shutdown from Leon. And Crystal Sentry is just not going to do anything. And Mousesports find yet again another ace.
It's not doing anything. They just topped up their health, getting that ace buff right there. They have 2 crystal turrets remaining, but you know what? They're just going to split the damage between them, cut down those cooldowns on the death timers, and they're going to be able to close this game out potentially. No, they're backing off, but this was just such a smart move to be able to take out those 2 remaining turrets, and Mousesports in a very commanding lead. You saw last in that team fight, Jaws, that we saw Hundor go down first. Because he goes down first, he's not able to completely destroy the members of Mouse. He's not able to have the damage output and the effectiveness that he would normally have with supernovas from his heliogenesis. We see, because Mouse is just so rich right now, they have another Tyrant's Monocle on Leon. They just picked up a Null Wave Gauntlet for Keanu Nakoa to shut down his activatables, and they're just going to have a field day in the next team fight. But Hundor looking a little sneaky there in the bush.
G2 have to play so scared now as well because the backdoor potential coming out from Leon. In fact, Passageway is going to get opened up. There's the core collapse, does land onto Justman. Hundor now is in alone on the back line, but that Valkyrie will slow him up. They're going to be able to kite forwards. Leon finds the first, he finds the second, but now it's Hundor left in the 1v3, and he's going to get cut down as well. G2 only needed one win in this series, and Mouse are determined for the upset. They're going to find the ace, and they're also going to find the game.
Exactly what the analyst desk and Tasty Bacon were talking about. They are dragging G2 down. They're saying, you know what, you're not going to go. We're going to spoil everything for you.
Well, there we go. The crystal has been shattered, and Mousesports take the first win in the finals. G2 are still looking for that one win to punch their ticket to Worlds, but that hope is getting slimmer and slimmer by the second. If Mousesports keep this up, it's going to be a short 5 victory in game number 2.
Look at this game, Jaws. 4-18. I never would have thought, looking